In our base case, we do see the Federal Reserve aggressively hiking interest rates and tightening financial conditions, but ultimately falling short of their stated targets in an effort to avoid derailing underlying U.S. economic growth. We see consumer spending remaining healthy, and we also see corporations continuing to feel the pinch of inflation on their income statements. On the fixed income side of the book, we think this means taking advantage of floating rate securities with low duration, like bank loans, and on the equity side, we think that focusing on profitability and firms that are significantly free cash flow generative today, not those that are expected to be 20 years in the future, will provide benefit to portfolios. In a more pessimistic scenario, it's certainly possible that the Federal Reserve comes out and does whatever it takes to tamp down inflation, even if that means throwing the US economy into a recession. It's also possible that the conflict in Ukraine escalates and additional extreme external measures are necessary. We could see consumer spending dissipate and ultimately corporate capitalization falter. And in this type of environment, we'd look to lean into more defensive equities and more defensive exposure on the fixed income side. In a more optimistic scenario, the Federal Reserve successfully executes a soft landing in which it curtails inflation without derailing underlying economic growth. We could see a swift recovery to the conflict in Ukraine. And in all likelihood, this confluence of factors would point to healthy consumer spending, robust corporate capitalization, and a risk-on type environment. Here, we think innovative firms will be rewarded regardless of how free cash flow generative they are today. And in the fixed income side of the book, high yield spreads would likely compress, and so risk would be rewarded.